Today we're going to be talking about an upcoming UFC super fight. We're talking about Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. These guys have fought 2 times before under kickboxing rules, and the UFC champion Israel Adesanya lost the first one and the second, but the second by knockout. Now I know many people are very intrigued by this fight, by this rematch under the UFC banner in MMA rules. What we're going to do today is I'm going to give you my opinion on who wins the rematch and how it's going to go down. Now, the first thing I want everybody to remember and recognize is the fight game is so unpredictable. And yes, as many of you guys know, I am quite good at breaking down opponents, breaking down fighters, and finding out how to get the win. But that doesn't mean I know who's going to win between 2 guys who I'm not really going up against. There's no reason I'm going to fight them in the future. I would have to do so much research to have a better view about who would take the win. But for this fight in particular, I did put a little bit of time in. I did go back and watch Adesanya versus Pereira number 2. And although I do want to share my opinion with you guys on who's going to win this rematch, which seems like it just has to happen at this point, I also want you guys to let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. And I'm not a betting man. The only fight I think I actually ever really bet on was McGregor versus Mayweather. That fight I can put money down on Mayweather and it's like free money because there's no way he's going to lose this fight. But for all other fights, it could tip either way. But I do think in this rematch that Adesanya has the edge. I'm not going to keep you guys in suspense until the end of the video, keeping you waiting to see who I think will win the rematch. No, I'm going to tell you right now, Adesanya for the win. But now I want to actually back that up. I want to go through fight footage from their previous bout, the one that Adesanya got knocked out in, and I want to tell you why I think he wins the rematch and explain to you in detail just the conclusion and how I got there. So let's start off and let's talk about Izzy's ability to fade back, that quick little twitch he had, because over the weekend we saw Alex Pereira land a big left hook on Sean Strickland, put him out. But Strickland was doing something like a big mistake. He was putting both hands out to deal with the jab and more or less leaving his head in position. I already did a video, which you can check out, talking about why that's so dangerous and why that left hook was right there. It was something easy for him to throw and get the knockout. So with Izzy's ability to fade back, which we saw in the second fight, I think it's going to be very difficult for Pereira to land that left hook, which many people are calling his knockout punch, his best shot. Now, obviously, the big difference between their previous fights and this fight is glove size. In the previous ones, they were probably in 10-ounce gloves. For kickboxing, now they're going to be in 4-ounce gloves. Who does this benefit? Well, many people will argue that this will benefit Pereira because he has so much power. And if he touches Izzy, Izzy is going to be out. But it's the opposite, in my opinion. I think it actually favors Adesanya, and I will explain why right now. We already know that Pereira has crazy knockout power. He put Izzy out with the bigger gloves. The issue is not, is it going to be easier for him to knock out Adesanya? That's not the question, in my opinion, since we already know that. The question is he going to be able to touch Adesanya? And here's the big question, is Adesanya going to be able to hurt Pereira with the smaller gloves? Because, let's be honest, last time in their kickboxing fight, he was lighting up Pereira. But Pereira's a tough dude. He took the shots well. So all of that was to basically say, when we look at their fight styles, we see Adesanya usually with his hands down, moving, using footwork and getting his head off the center line. This is what he needs to do. Pereira is a little bit more hands up. He guards a little bit more like I would from my kickboxing background, and that is more dangerous with the 4-ounce gloves. So I see these smaller gloves benefiting Adesanya. Now, as I already mentioned, Pereira gets tagged. Adesanya has always been an evasive, elusive fighter, but Pereira takes shots. Now, he's not somebody who just stands there and just takes them like maybe Mark Hunt used to, like intentionally, but he is going to get hit more. So a big part of Izzy being able to get the win will be, can he evade Pereira's shots for long enough, and can he actually hurt him with the 4-ounce gloves? I think he will be able to do all of that. Now I want to take a look at some footage from the previous fight and look at a couple things which I think will be big key factors in the rematch. These clips here are Adesanya demonstrating a phenomenal defense. And this is exactly what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to make Pereira a little bit frustrated, not be able to land anything, basically go maybe a full round not having any success, and most importantly, he's going to have his counters on point. If Pereira comes forward like he wants that big KO, you've got to assume that's going to be his game plan. He's not going to come in and try and outpoint Izzy to a decision. So if he comes for the KO, and Adesanya can remain very evasive, very elusive, make sure that shots are not landing, and get those counters off, I think this will be a perfect game plan for Adesanya to take the win and possibly even get a KO victory. Now, in their last fight, which was a rematch, we saw Adesanya, boom, just landing that cross over and over and over. He actually even scored an 8 count on Pereira, which is something we don't see in MMA. It's not part of the rule set, but it is part of kickboxing. It's designed to keep fighters safe when they are damaged. The ref does not come in and stop the fight. He gives the person an 8 count and then allows it to continue. If that would have been an MMA fight, the fight would have been done. The ref would have stepped in to protect Pereira, and that would have been the end of it. So there's a chance that when we look back, people go, oh, Adesanya got KO'd, but the fight could have easily been stopped prior to that. Now, what we need to recognize from both these fighters is different styles. Adesanya is very crisp, very direct in his technique. Pereira is a little bit more wild, as we saw in the last fight. And in his wildness, he was able to land that left hook on Adesanya. But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't have all the answers, and I definitely make mistakes sometimes, but I think a little bit of luck was involved in his last win. And Adesanya just losing a little bit of focus for a moment. Adesanya is going to have to be so on point. He's going to have like Floyd Mayweather style concentration when he's up against Pereira, because yes, we know Pereira has power and we know he can put Adesanya down with the big gloves. Smaller gloves are going to be even more dangerous. But Adesanya is so evasive, and his experience in MMA now compared to Pereira's, I think, will also help him out. Now, the big danger for Adesanya is Pereira getting multiple shots off in a row. If Adesanya can be evasive enough to every time move out of the way, utilize footwork before Pereira can land anything, so it means he does not get to throw 3 techniques, that will be another key to victory for him, I believe. But as I mentioned at the beginning, fights are unpredictable. I could do all the research in the world, come up with 100 reasons why Adesanya wins, and it just doesn't happen. I'm not saying go out and bet a bunch of money on this fight. I am just saying I'm very interested in this rematch, and I'm assuming most people are going to be very interested as well. I could see this being one of the highest gates in the UFC in a long time. So what I want you guys to do, if you have not already, is let me know in the comments below who wins the rematch and why. Yes, Adesanya is the UFC champion. Yes, he's on a massive streak, except for his loss when he moved up in weight class and went against the champion at 205 pounds. But remember that Alex Pereira is a former Glory champion at 2 weight classes. He is a dangerous man, and by no means me picking Adesanya means he's going to have a victory very easy. So I look forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. Train hard, guys, and I will see you back here soon for another video.